trash, litter, waste. We've come to know these terms, to hear them daily. We see trash everywhere, on our streets and in our homes, in our schools and in our offices, in our forests and in our seas. We're told that trash is useless, that it is something broken to be discarded, so it doesn't affect us, right? Trash is just final. It disappears, and it definitely can't be art. Or can it?
A giant pink can? What? What about it? It's giant, it's iconic, it's colorful, it's call to action. It's literally a call to action. What is this sculpture about? What is this shape about? Make it giant, so people still pretending to ignore the problem cannot ignore it anymore.
Tons of plastic is released into our ocean every year. 2 million plastic bags are used every minute worldwide, and only 9% of all plastics ever produced has ever been recycled.
I couldn't just sit there, so I went out and then I met Caroline.
I moved to Hong Kong 8 years ago, and I was coming from France, from my home country. In France, already 8 years ago, and for years before, we were already doing waste separation. I remember sometimes my mom wondering if the yogurt pot should go to this trash or that trash, but after a quick check, we would figure out, to her, it was not an effort, it was a citizen duty. Anyone knows this shape, right? So that was the idea. Take an iconic object as a symbol to spread a message. As a conceptual artist, I create symbols to share messages, to share meaningful messages. This giant pink crushed can is a new symbol for a new message.
That's how we decided to take her art out into Hong Kong and see how people perceived trash versus art. But first, I had to know how people thought of trash in my own environment, my school. I asked my classmates and friends, if I say the word plastic, what do you think of?
And pollution.
Waste, pollution, ocean, turtles.
Dead fish. The ocean.
Trash. Landfills and dead turtles.
Obviously the response was negative, but what would they do if they actually saw trash on the floor in the street?
Random day, I probably would not care.
Probably just ignore it.
We're used to seeing trash on the street every day. We're used to seeing litter. If it's not in a naturally protected environment by the government, I probably will not look at it much.
There's this general acceptance that trash is bad. It's bad for our environment, it's bad for our planet. And yet, we all want to help. But when we're put in a position where we could pick up a can on the street, we don't. Why is that?
I think it's because they want to continue with their day and not have to go about and think about the bigger issue, and also they might have other stuff on their mind, or they might be in a rush, and it's just too much for them to also think about the world as well.
I think humans have a natural propensity to behave in a manner that they're going to accumulate as much things as possible, and at some point there's going to be trash that is left. And it's society's job to ensure that this trash is reused, recycled, and in a world with less and less petrol, it's going to be vital that we transition from this world of consumption to this world of reutilization.
The reason as to why we ignore things that are glaringly obvious disruptions to our lives is because we are humans. We do not like taking responsibility for things that don't involve us, and even if it does, we weigh it in our heads whether it's worth it or not to do something about it. Us thinking that someone else is going to change the world, or blaming the government for not doing something instead, is what's really damaging. If each individual thinks this way, nothing will change. However, if we all work together and persevere, then only then will some change will start to happen. It all depends on how much you wish for our planet to actually get better.
We are living on a beautiful island, surrounded by the sea, surrounded by mountains. Anywhere we are on this island, we have a look. We can actually see. We have a look on this nature. Is it a way to remind us to keep an eye on it, to protect it? Is it a way to understand that we're actually part of it?
One of the most damaging types of waste that affect our planet are MSWs, and these are municipal solid waste, which come from households, from commercial stores, from industries, and they end up stockpiled in landfills for who knows how long. I mean, look at an aluminum can. It can take up to 200 years to fully decompose. And then you have something like glass, which can take literal millions of years to decompose. It's absurd to stockpile and overproduce these things that we know will outlive us all.
I believe what she's doing is a really great thing because she's showing that we can use our trash, use the things that we find on the street to create something entirely new, something with an artistic value, something that is going to bring people together.
Making art in the form of large soda cans is a statement of Hong Kong's waste. When making this film, I thought that there would be more people who noticed the large cans, but to my surprise, nearly everyone ignored them, even though we had placed them out in the middle of the streets. A lot had walked around it without sparing a second glance, whereas others would look and continue walking. The only people who interacted with it fully were actually children, because it looked big and fun, so they wanted to play with it. This just showed how in Hong Kong we are just so used to seeing trash lying around and weird stuff on the streets that we don't even bother to give it a look or do something about it.
As a student and a child of the younger generation, I think that we really need to take action for the climate because we have no plan B. And well, it's crazy that we're not more worried about the situation right now and that, well, the climate is changing in front of our eyes and we're causing it and we're doing nothing. So I think it's really important that we take action.
The planet is dying, and if we can find creative ways to turn trash into art, then so be it.
So our planet is dying, and it's full of trash, and it will always be full of trash, because even if we stopped now, it would take millions of years for everything that we've produced to fully disappear. So instead of leaving a negative trace with our trash, let's try to turn it into something beautiful, turn it into something to raise awareness, turn it into something that we can hang on our wall and call art, turn it into something that would make the French girl proud. So you decide, trash or art?